Hello learners, welcome to the session of Human Resource Planning. The session is titled as Job Analysis and HR Planning. I am Dr. A.K. Jana, your instructor of the session. In addition to welcoming you to this session, I would like to give you some useful information about what are the broad coverage of the session first, and then we'll continue through those points. Particularly during this session, we are going to study about job analysis, the introduction and the historical backdrop. We'll be also discussing about job analysis and its associated problems, the processes that is followed on job analysis, the specific job analysis techniques like critical incident techniques, position analysis questionnaire, and functional job analysis. First of all, let's try to know why do organizations need to have a job analysis. It starts with an organization's mission statement. An organization's mission statement provides the guiding rationale. The guiding rationale is to be called as strategic goals for the activities of all subunits and its employees. As we move down the organizational hierarchy from the executive suites to the production floor, the strategic goals get subdivided to various units, and that is called as the operational goals. To attain the operational goals, it requires partitioning the work processes into manageable units, and those manageable units are called as job. So what is a job? The meaning of job is basically defined as a group of related duties, tasks, behaviors that is performed by one or more individuals, namely job holders. Each job will have one or more positions. In other words, the number of individuals who are performing the duties required by that specific job. Similarly, each individual job, when you are aggregating them with others, that can create departmentalization. The analysis of subdivided work in the organization, that we make it both at the individual job and for the entire flow of production, is referred as job analysis. So you being the students of HR planning, I expect that you will be playing the role of HR planner. So it is essential for you to get the knowledge or to have a fair knowledgeable exposure about the nature of work and its overall contribution that it makes towards the attainment of organizational mission. Let me take you through the meaning of job analysis. Job analysis means it is an examination of jobs in an organization with a view to document the tasks, duties, and responsibilities of a job. Along with that, it also tries to capture the knowledge, skill, abilities, and other attributes that is required for successfully performing a job. So over here, the written outcome of the process is referred to be as job description. Job description means the emphasis is about the tasks, duties, responsibility of a job. And what I told about the competencies, that is in the form of knowledge, skill, abilities, and different other attributes, are to be called as job specification. This job description and job specification need to go hand in hand. First of all, before getting into the job, the job analysis as a whole, let's talk about what is this KSAO. KSAO are defined as K for knowledge. Knowledge means it is the body of information which is usually comes in the form of factual or procedural. This basically, the knowledge allows an individual to perform a task successfully. The second point is called as the skill. Skill means it is the individual's level of proficiency or the competencies for performing a specific task. The third, the A is ability. Ability is a more general, which is an enduring trait or capability of an individual, because if the individual pauses us at the time when he or she is beginning to perform his task, and when we are referring about other attributes, the other attributes are in the form of the work experiences. So therefore, if we see the job description and job specification, we can come to an understanding that job analysis is the mother of all the HR activities. Before we can meaningfully advertise jobs and recruit individuals through HR planning, we may be able to specify the individual competencies that we seek. Once after we develop pool of successful job applicants, the selection process will incorporate the employment tests and interview questions, which is based on the need to choose the individual who best meets the formal requirements for success identified by our job analysis process. The selection process then comes next, that flows out from the job analysis, and this is used for succession planning. The selection process are used to appraise the organization's internal candidate for possible transfer or promotion to senior profiles. Once we have selected an individual to fill a job, then he or she should be given a copy of both. The both mean the job description and job specification for the job, which provides specific guidance for the individual on how to perform the job in accordance with the wishes of an organization. The performance appraisal process over here, it compares the individual's accomplishment over a predetermined period, and the performance appraisal is measured with the desired standard that is specified in the job description or the job specification. Therefore, if the performance appraisal process, if it reveals that the individual has deficiency that can be rectified by extending the training and development, specific programs or courses can be developed which can be given to help the individual for reaching the desired standards. Finally, for planning the future career moves, the organizations meet the employees' current knowledge, skill and attitudes plus the other attributes, and so also the levels of performance, and compare these to the KSOs that is required in various target jobs to which the employees would like to apply. So when you are referring about job analysis, it is also apt to understand about the historical backdrop of job analysis. The job analysis has started with the principle of scientific management, which was given by Frederick Winslow Taylor, because that study of scientific management and Frederick Winslow Taylor's contribution stand to be as a key contribution to the evolution of job analysis methods. Taylor's approach was to be called as the industrial engineering approach, because through that he has tried to focus on reducing the cost while improving the efficiency of the manufacturing workers. In particular, Frederick Winslow Taylor's analysis process concentrate on findings the one best way to do any job. His approach still, which is a central feature of present-day job analysis, examines two primary aspects of each job in an organization. Number one, methods employed. This includes the individual's knowledge of production techniques and processes, the individual's cognitive and psychometric abilities, and number two is called as the working conditions in which the job is performed. That is one. The second one is called as time measurement. The time measurement says the cycle or production time that is required to produce the goods and services to the performance standards that is expected from an organization. So this is about the historical backdrop from where the job analysis has been arrived. Let's talk about the different associated problems of job analysis. The problems associated with job analysis goes as, the first point is Job analysis is neither updated nor reviewed. Obsolete job descriptions, basically it not only fail to provide the job incumbents with meaningful guidance as to their required duties and tasks, but also results in an HR planning process that is attempting to match individuals to the jobs or on the basis of information that is no longer valid. So job analysis need to be reviewed when on a regular basis by incumbents, by supervisors, by HR staff, so as to ensure that the written job requirement reflects the reality of contemporary job performance. Number 2, job description or specification may stand to be too vague. Organizations often specify that applicants are supposed to have certain amount of work experience in a certain functional area instead of specifying exact skills or competencies the applicants should have learned over that period. So without having such specific information, experience or time spent on the job has little relevance for selection. Therefore, to be an effective component of HR planning, the job analysis process must produce the detailed and specific requirements for the successful performance of each job in the work process. The third point is called as the contamination and deficiency. If the job description or specification fails to incorporate important aspects of the job that are required for success, this error of omission is referred to as deficiency. Conversely, if we include peripheral, unimportant aspects of a job in the formal job description, we are going to run the risk of contaminating it. That is by diverting attention from valid, important correlates of success. Fourth point, time and cost of job analysis. Typical costs for conducting a job analysis includes we need to hire a consultant, so obviously consulting fees that we provided for a job analysis. Number 2, like licensing fees associated with the usage of, suppose say if you are adopting some job analysis method, so obviously we need to pay the licensing fees. Number 3, costs of lost production, because we are interviewing or surveying the job incumbents and managers, so they are giving their time to us, so obviously there will be a cost of lost production. And the fourth one is the administrative cost involved, that is like codifying, analyzing, drafting, revising and disseminating the information that results from process. However, conducting a job analysis could have time and cost savings. For example, better matching of individual skills to organizational requirements. Number 2, incorporation of benefits of organizational learning with respect to product and process improvement. Number 3, reduced job ambiguity. Number 4, clarification of operating procedures and job relationships. Number 5, explicit definition of performance expectations that we set for individuals and teams. And number 6, facilitations when you're planning for other HR programs. Let me take you through some of the steps or processes that is followed for job analysis. I would like to bring you around 5 steps or processes that job analysis is normally being carried out in different organizations. Number 1, the first step is called as determining the job or process to be analyzed. Organizations normally select certain well-defined jobs common throughout the industry that can be benchmarked externally. That is the analysis with these well-known jobs first. So in this step, some of the factors that determine whether job analysis will be concurrent. Concurrent mean all job the analysis that is carried out is happening at approximately the same time, or sequential. Sequential mean the job analysis conducted in different stages over time. But both of them, they need to include, number 1, the degree to which the selected job is central or critical to the operations of the organization. Number 2, the availability of the job analysis and the other required resources. Number 3, the availability of external performance benchmarks for organizational jobs of similar nature. The second point, what are the methods that we need to determine and to analyze the job in process? Selection criteria of job analysis method includes several points, like for example the cost. Number 1 is the cost. That include, for example, if you are taking up some questionnaires and adapting it for our job analysis, so copyrighted questionnaires. If you are looking for experts to train our people, administer the job analysis, obviously that comes with a cost when you are including the licensing fees for all these activities. The second one is the time. That includes the time that we spent on surveys and interview, training assessment, data coding and analysis. Number 3, flexibility of methods. This criterion has to do with whether the method is appropriate for the particular circumstances. Number 4, validity and reliability. Criteria relates to whether the job analysis method have been tested and found to be accurate measure of job's essential element, and whether the results of these methods show a consistent pattern over repeated usage. Last point that talks about acceptance. Some job analysis method, such as say direct observations and say for example video tapping of work performance. These may be considered intrusive by the workforce, and therefore this need to be met with kind of resistance. Other methods in lieu of it that normally companies use are in the form of questionnaires and interviews, and this is more likely acceptable by workers. Some of the common methods of job analysis that is followed is like one is called as an interview. Interview means we are trying to gather information about a job analyst. Therefore, a job analyst may interview job incumbents as well as co-workers, supervisors, suppliers, clients and subordinates. This type of all-round analysis of a job is referred to as 360-degree evaluation. Number 2, observation. In direct observations, analysts observe the product line for workers' behavior and the skills required for job success. Indirect observation can incorporate a variety of means such as videotape recording of the job that is being performed for subsequent analysis. Third point, questionnaire. Some of the more frequently used instruments are in the form of questionnaire. That includes, for example, in case of HR planning, we may adopt a functional job analysis. Otherwise, we may carry a job diagnostic survey, or we may think in terms of creating a position analysis questionnaire. Some of the common elements of such questionnaires that includes education, training and skill requirements to be successful in the job. Responsibility and accountability also comes in play. Similarly, efforts and working conditions also can be elicited through questionnaire. There are other methods also being applied. One is called as a journal and diary. This method of job analysis asks the job holders to maintain a written record of their job activities and associated time expenditures for a preset period that typically changes from a complete work cycle or typical week to up to a month. Another way that happens that also is having a prominent method of job analysis is called as the output and production analysis. For example, machines generated output reports as well as production reporting procedures. This can obtain information about the job and its normal and peak levels of production. Number 6, current job descriptions and specification. If a previous job analysis has been performed, it is an examination of the existing job descriptions and specifications. Although the information contained in this document is already dated, it is advantageous to see how the job in question has evolved and whether its component, duties or tasks and employee specification as well as the authority and the status of the job is accorded have increased or diminished over a period of time. So this is all about the second step. The third step is called as examining the recorded data on the job or process. So in this stage, we need to visit some of the questions which can be examined. For example, we need to ask ourselves, being in HR and when we follow this step about what is the purpose of this job, why does it exist, where is the job physically being performed, are there any kind of compelling reason why the job must be performed there, or what is the sequence of behaviors required for successful job performance? Are there any kind of ways to modify the methods and process to improve the job? To improve the job means both qualitatively, for example, when you are able to derive the satisfaction, it is like worker satisfaction or the client or customer satisfaction, worker motivation. And if it is quantitatively, then definitely the output. We need to ask also who perform the jobs, what constitute the employee specification. I think we already spoke about it. Example, education, training, skill. These are all the employee specifications required for job success. Are these specifications optimal, or are they the minimum standard required for success on the job? This we need to check. Similarly, what are the means of performing the job? Are the materials, machines, group, processes and operating procedures, is it congruent with the effective performance of the job? Need to be checked. So these informations may very well be used to draft the job description or specification, which should be reviewed by the job incumbent, but also this need to be reviewed by the supervisors. The fourth point, defining and formalizing new methods and performance standards for the job or process. At this stage, the job analysis attempts to improve the current practices. How? It is by recommending the new method and performance standards of the job. But to carry out this step, analysis must present the following questions to the job incumbent. Like questions like one is like, would you recommend any change to materials, machinery, behavioral sequencing, training, procedures to improve the performance on the job? Or are there any duties or tasks that should be added to or deleted from the job? Number 3, would you recommend any changes in the specification for individuals selected to perform the job? Number 4, what changes in the working conditions would you recommend to improve performance on the job? Or what is your rationale for these recommended changes? Having gleaned the collective wisdom of all the relevant parties regarding the performance of the job under examination, the HR analyst or the job analyst can think of writing about the new description or specification for a specific job. And this will incorporate the improvements in how the job is performed. How the job is performed is called as the methods. And revisions to performance and output standards, that is called as a time. These changes are formalized into a written document, and that is called as a job description sheet or a job specification sheet. Now the fifth point, how to maintain the new methods and performance standards for the job or process. There are 4 main methods over here which help ensure use of new techniques and to prevent relapses of the old comfortable ways of performing the job. One of the methods is called as communication and training. The process of formally communicating the job changes must also provide sufficient time for questions and answers to see that workers are very, very clear on the new expectations for their job performance. Number 2, supervisory reinforcement. You can find out in many MNCs, they used to go for supervisory reinforcement. They use coaching, modeling the desired behavior and reinforcing the successful performance of the new methods and all effective techniques supervisors can employ to prevent the relapses to the outdated yet habitual methods of performing the job. Number 3, employee feedback. Employees must be given the freedom to express suggested improvements or concerns with respect to methods, performance standards, and so on, if we expect them to be motivated and committed to their jobs. 4th, the reward system. If the revised work process is team-based, but the compensation system conflicts with the job descriptions by being disproportionately weighted towards evaluation of individual performance, we can expect to see unplanned, dysfunctional behavior and conduct from the members of the same team. Let's talk about some of the specific job analysis As I told in the beginning that we need to discuss about some of the specific techniques. So one of the technique is called as a critical incident technique. This is a qualitative process of job analysis which produces a statement of behavioral examples along with a range from superiors to ineffective performance for a specific job. Several experts, normally trained job holders with considerable experience in the job, actually they are asked to identify the key dimensions of their job. Subsequently, they are being told to describe for the analyst in writing or verbally the specific critical incidents which is related to success as well as those that lead to failure. Once these critical incidents have been described, they are ranked with respect to the importance to success on the job. The behavioral statements that is generated, those are getting to be used to provide specific guidance for HR planners in refining the employee specification for the job in question. The second method that is being used is called as a position analysis questionnaire. This is also in the short form called as PAQ. This was developed by Ernest McCormick as a structured job analysis checklist. He has made it out of 194 elements or job elements to rate a job. He has explored 194 job elements and tried to incorporate 6 dimensions. And what are those 6 dimensions? One is called as an information input. Information input says how and where the workers obtain necessary information for job functioning. Number 2, mental processes. The types of planning, reasoning or decision-making process that is followed or required by the job. Number 3, work output. The specific items that is produced by the worker and the tools the worker employs to produce them. Number 4, relationship with the other workers. The important interpersonal contacts for the job holder is also very important. Number 5, job context and work satisfaction. The physical and social working conditions over here get to be checked. Similarly, there are different other job characteristics, that is elements of the job, and that is not able to fulfill or fall in the aforesaid 5 dimensions are to be addressed in these other job characteristics. So although the job incumbents can complete the position analysis questionnaire or PAQ, but typically a job analyst will interview the incumbent prior to directly observing his or her actions in fulfilling the performance requirements of the job. This basically enables the job analyst to score each of the 194 items on several 5-point scales such as the frequency of usage, importance to the specific jobs, and so on. The resultant quantitative score that we get it that enables the comparison of jobs throughout the organization, and for the jobs, those jobs that is get to be grouped according to similar scores on those 6 different dimensions that we discussed. The third one is called as a functional job analysis. The functional job analysis, this employs a series of written task statements such as containing 4 essential elements. One is called as a verb. Verb means it is related to the task actions that is being performed by the worker. Number 2, it's an object. Object means it is referring to what is being acted on. Or a description. Description means we are going to describe about an equipment, tool, aid and process that is required for successful completion of a task. Number 4 is called as the output or result of task completion. So the completed task statements are used to describe any job and contain 3 essential elements. These 3 essential elements are, one is called as the people, that is important for interpersonal relationship on the job. Number 2 is called as the data, that is obtaining, using and transforming the data in aid of job performance. Number 3 is called as the things. Things are in the form of the machinery, for example, the physical machinery, the resources, the environment. So each of these 3 dimensions, the 3 dimensions are what I told you is about the people, data and thing, is then rated on the level of complexity and importance with respect to the jobs that you are analyzing. The result of the rating that you get it is a quantitative score which can be used to compare various jobs. So this is all about the functional job analysis. That's the way we make the job analysis. I think in this session we have studied about the introduction, the historical backdrop of the job analysis at the beginning. Then we try to associate job analysis with the inherent problems that is lying in. We have spoken about the different processes of job analysis. And finally, we have concluded with some of the specific job analysis techniques. For example, critical incident technique, the position analysis questionnaires, and finally we end up with a very recent technique called as a functional job analysis. Thank you, friends.